All right, guys, today we are working on the Unit 2, Assignment 5 in Schoology. And all of this assignment is about inequalities. So here's just a quick refresher. This symbol means greater than. This symbol means less than. This one is greater than or equal to, and this one is less than or equal to. And this is just a visual representation over here on the number line. If you have x is greater than 5, any number that you plug in that's bigger than 5 will be a solution. 6 is a solution, 7 is a solution, 8 is a solution, 1,000 is a solution. Any number bigger than 5, works. So that is why we graph it like that. Oh, geez, I thought I got the eraser. That's why we graph it like that. We graph it to show that any number in that arrowed space is a solution. 4 is not a solution. And in this case, 5 is not a solution because it doesn't say greater than or equal to. It just says it has to be greater than 5. So that open circle shows that that's not a solution. So same thing here, less than. X is less than -1. -1 is not a solution, but all the numbers less than -1 are solutions. Here we have x is greater than or equal to 3. So in this case, 3 is a solution, which is why we used a closed circle. And then all the numbers greater than 3 are also solutions. Down here we have x is less than or equal to 5. So 5 can be a solution. And then all the numbers less than are also solutions. All right, so we want to solve this. Now remember, when we solve inequalities, we solve them just like equations. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line down the symbol and box off my letter. And then I'm going to ask myself, what do I need to get rid of? Remember, we look on the same side as the letter, and that's where we figure out what to get rid of. We need to get rid of +15, and since we're adding 15, the opposite is to subtract. So we're going to subtract 15 from both sides. I'm going to bring my 3t straight down. The symbol stays the same. The only time you flip the symbol is if you multiply or divide by a negative. And then I get -24. Now I'm still trying to isolate the t or get t by itself. Right now I have 3 times t. The opposite of multiplying is dividing, so I'm going to divide each side by 3. I'm dividing by a +3, so I do not flip my inequality symbol. Even though 24 is negative, the number I'm dividing by is positive, so the symbol stays the same. And 24 divided by 3 is whoops. I almost said 6, but that's 8. That's a -8. So t is less than or equal to -8. If you look at a number line at -8, you would have a closed circle because it can be equal to. And then we want all the numbers less than -8. So you can think about, you can look on the number line and look on each side and say, okay, here I have -9 and here I have -7. Which one's less than? Well, -9 is less than. So you're going to shade all things that way. The other way you can think about it is you can look at the symbol itself. The symbol itself forms an arrowhead, and that arrowhead should be the same as the one on your graph. All right, write and solve the algebraic inequality. The product of -3 and a number is at least -36. All right, so we're multiplying -3 times a number. Whenever we don't know the number, we just call it x. So -3 times x is at least -36. At least means that it can equal -36 or be bigger. So we want it to be greater than or equal to. So that's how we would write it. And then to solve it, we would have to divide each side by -3. And we are dividing by a negative, so we would flip our symbol. And that's how we would solve it. So to solve this inequality, we're going to draw our line down our symbol, and then we're going to distribute. 3 times k is 3k. 3 times -2 is -6. My symbol stays the same. And I'm just bringing down the rest. Now I notice I have k's on both sides, so I need to get them on the same side. I'm going to do the opposite, which is to subtract 3 k's from each side. They cancel over here, and they cancel over here. And we're left with a statement that says -6 is greater than +6. We got to ask ourselves, is that true? Is the alligator mouth eating the bigger number? And in this case, no, that is not true. And if it's not true, then that means there is no solution. Remember, if you get to a statement that is true, that means there's infinitely many solutions. But in this case, it is not eating the bigger number, so it is no solution. Karma earns $10 per hour babysitting. She must earn a minimum of $98 next month to attend a concert. If H represents the number of hours Karma babysits, write an inequality to describe the situation. So she gets $10 per hour, so 10 times H, and she has to earn a minimum of $98. So it could equal $98 or it could be greater than $98. 98 is the minimum. So that is how we would write our inequality. Jump and Roll offers birthday parties for a fee of $150 plus $10 per person. So $150 plus $10 per person. If you can spend no more than $240, so you could spend $240 or you could spend less than that. You can't spend any more than $240. So we want to use the less than or equal to symbol. What is the maximum number of people who can attend? So we're going to have to solve it. So we'll draw our line and box off our letter and then ask ourselves what is on the same side as the letter that we need to get rid of. And here we need to get rid of 150, so we're going to subtract 150 from each side. 10p is less than or equal to, let's see what that is, 90? 240 minus 150 is 90. Divide each side by 10. And p has to be less than or equal to 9 people. She can have 9 people or less. She can have 8 people, 7, 6, any of those, but she can't have 10. It has to be 9 or less. Translate the word sentence into an inequality. 5 less than a number is more than 10. All right, so we got a lot going on here. First of all, we have 5 is less than a number. Anytime we don't know the number, we put X or any letter. 5 is less than a number. So we're going to have 5 is less than a number. We're going to take that away. We're going to take 5 away from a number. 5 less than. So 5 less than a number is more than 10. More than means it has to be greater than 10. And if you still have a hard time figuring out which one's the greater than symbol and which one's the less than symbol, I hold up my hands, and the hand that makes the L, like if you hold up your thumb and forefinger, the one that makes the L is the less than symbol. Oops, if I could spell than. Less than symbol. The one that doesn't make an L is greater than. So sometimes you just need to remember which one's less than and which one's greater than. So that's how you can tell. Miss Lopez wants to have her car repaired but does not want to spend more than $525 for repairs. The mechanic says that the parts needed for the repair will cost $250 and the labor will cost an additional $60 per hour. Which inequality represents the greatest number of hours the mechanic can work without exceeding Mrs. Lopez's budget? Okay, so it's $250 for the part plus $60 per hour. And she only has $525. So it can equal $525 or be less than $525. So again, hold up your hands, and the one that makes the L is the less than symbol. So that is our correct equation. And I think that's all we had to do was just write the inequality. So that should be it. All right, this one we are solving. I'm going to write it bigger so I can see it better. We have 6 times x plus 3 divided by 7 is less than 3. Okay, so we are trying to get x by itself. The first thing we need to get rid of is this whole side is divided by 7. I want to get rid of that. And the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So I am going to multiply each side times 7. That way I'm left with 6x plus 3, and 3 times 7 is 21. Now it looks more like equations we're used to seeing. We still want to get the x by itself, so we have to get rid of the 3. Since it's a positive 3, we will do the opposite and subtract 3 from each side. And that gives me 18. And then we're still trying to isolate that x. We're trying to get x by itself, so we have to get rid of the 6. Since we're multiplying, the opposite is to divide. Now I am not dividing by a negative, so I do not flip my symbol. You only flip your inequality mouth if you are multiplying or dividing by a negative. So in this case, I would get x is less than 3. And if you needed to put that on a number line, 0, 1, 2, 3, it would be an open circle on 3 with all the numbers less than being shaded. Casey raised $368 for her softball team's fundraiser. She wants to raise no less than $600. Write and solve an inequality to determine how much more money she needs to raise to reach her goal. Let D represent the amount of money in dollars Casey must raise to reach her goal. Okay, so she's already got 368. She's got to add some amount to that, and the whole thing needs to be no less than $600. So it could equal $600 or be greater than $600. It just can't be less than $600. So that would be our equation. And then if we wanted to solve it, we would draw our line and box off our letter. To get rid of 368, we would subtract it from each side. Bring the D straight down. I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so I don't flip my symbol. And then 600 minus 368 is 232. She needs to raise at least $232 more. What is the value of x such that the perimeter of the rectangle shown is at least 48 centimeters? Okay, perimeter. That is when you add up all the sides. We're not finding the area, so we're not multiplying. For perimeter, we're just adding all the sides. And in a rectangle, the opposite sides are equal. So if this side is 3x, I know this side is also 3x. And if this side is 4 plus x, I know this side has to be 4 plus x. And then for perimeter, I need to add all of those up. So I'm going to take my 3x plus 4 plus x plus 3 more x plus another 4 plus x. And it doesn't matter if that 4 plus x is in parentheses or not. That is totally up to you whether you want to have the parentheses there. I don't really like them, so I'm getting rid of them. I don't need them because I'm adding everything. So I have 3x plus an x plus 3 more x's plus another x. Now y'all remember, if you don't see a number in front of x, there has to be a 1 there. So 3x plus 1x, that gives me 4x. I'm just going to go ahead and do this in two steps. And then I have another 3x plus 1x, so that's another 4x. So if I add all of the x's together, I get 8 x's. Now you didn't have to write it out like I did. You could just say 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 and get 8 that way. All right, so we combined all of our x's, but now we need to also combine our numbers. We have 4 plus 4, which is 8. So we combine like terms. We added our x's, then we added our numbers. We can't do anything else here. That's as far as we can go, but we need to finish the problem. It says, what is the value of x such that the perimeter is at least 48 centimeters? So 8x plus 8 has to be greater than or equal to 48. If it's at least 48, it could equal 48 or it could be greater than 48. So that is actually our equation, but we still need to go back and solve it. So we're going to draw our line, subtract 8 from each side. Sorry, I'm having to move really fast so I don't get timed out on the video. And then divide each side by 8. I don't need to flip my symbol because I did not multiply or divide by a negative. And 40 divided by 8 is 5. So x has to be greater than or equal to 5. All right, y'all, I hope this helps and good luck on your assignment.